I used to be a high school teacher about 5 years ago, so I, have a little bit of public speaking. But let's just get straight into it. I don't want to bore you with my intro. You'll learn about me during my little talk. So I was a COVID realtor. Okay, so everyone knows us COVID realtors had it pretty easy as soon as we got a license. People were just making all these sight unseen offers, super low interest rates. It was amazing. So right when I got my license, I was a high school teacher. The principal came and said, "Hey, you guys are going to be off for the rest of the semester. No more school, and then we'll pay you." And I had my real estate license, so I secretively moved to Franklin and sold my house in Spartanburg. Moved to Franklin, and then I figured, okay, I got 6 months to try and figure this out, or else I gotta go back to teaching. So I just kind of I started brainstorming a bunch of different ideas. And I was like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna meet all these new people in this new town that I didn't grow up in? I didn't know anybody in Franklin. So I'm gonna mention the word, and hopefully you guys aren't gonna completely turn off, but what I do is cold call. Okay, so I cold call everybody, but I don't call it that, I just call it work, okay? Back in the beginning of my career, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd look at myself in the mirror and I'd give myself this little pep talk. I'd say, look, I'm licensed by the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. It's my job, and I would feel this in my heart and my soul. It's my job to reach out to all these people in Franklin and Macon County to let them know that I'm here if they need help. Let them know what's going on in their neighborhood. A house right down the road from you just sold. I just want to call you and tell you about that, see if you needed anything. I wasn't soliciting, okay? I wasn't asking them if they're gonna buy or sell. I had their information, I knew them by their name. It would pop up on my computer. Okay, so my script, my tone, everything was really, I had to make sure it was on point because I didn't want these people to think that I was just some spammy cold call person, right? So I'd see their name, some of my script, okay, so let's just rewind. That was like in the beginning of 2020, okay? I was sitting here on this dialer just calling people all day long. All right, fast forward to last year. That's the only thing that I've done. I've never paid for an online lead. All right, never paid for an online lead. Did cold calling, a weekly newsletter, and I put all my weekly newsletter into my social media accounts. If you guys see me, sometimes I post on the North Carolina group. That's my weekly newsletter. Talk about all these different things, and I don't even really talk a whole lot about real estate on my weekly newsletter. So fast forward last year, full-time buyer's agent, full-time admin assistant, and now I have a full-time person that makes my cold calls for me. He's doing it right now while I'm up here speaking. So that's amazing, and he's better at it than I am. Okay, because he's been doing that his entire career. I've just been doing it for a couple of years. He's better at it than I am.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you two-part questions because I already know the answers, but you might find this interesting. Where is he located now?
He's in India.
Where is he from originally?
Indianapolis. I pay him $7 an hour. 240 bucks a week, and he calls for 40 hours a week. I was only able to do that the first week or two, or maybe the first month when I moved to Franklin. I would call for like 40 hours a week. But after you call that many people, you get so busy. So I hadn't been able to do 40 hours a week since 2020. He does it every single week, and he's better at it than I am. He's quicker. The conversations are faster. I'm getting off subject.
What's your conversion rate on that? I mean, how many?
He'll get a lead. He'll get one lead per day. 1, 2, sometimes 3. He schedules a follow-up per day, and that's an 8-hour day.
And how many of those are you able to convert into an appointment?
So he started about a month or 2 ago. I've sent 3 listing agreements and got them signed since then.
He's more than paid for himself.
And I learned this word the other day, and I love this word for cold calling: opportunity calling.
Yeah.
Love that word.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
opportunity.
here's the missing piece of the puzzle, okay? Because a lot of you folks, maybe you're gonna just be like, oh, cool, let's go hire Power ISA and let's just get the cold caller. But you have to know what to tell, you have to know what to say, you have to know these scripts. That's where everyone, because we've all heard the story of, oh, I got a inside sales associate and those things are stupid, they just don't work, right? I've heard of that. That's why I didn't do it. That's why it took me 5 years to do it. I should have done it in 2021. Okay, but it took me so long to do it. Finally, I kept going to all these little presentations at conferences. I kept hearing everyone says it. Hire out, scale, hire out, which, you don't need a license to cold call. You don't need a license to send weekly emails. Okay, you don't need a license to put signs in the yard. So I trained my guy hardcore for 2 weeks. Say this, no, say that, say this, say that. But works at college, and so he's already quick and sharp and can move on speed, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's where the missing puzzle is. You have to train new people to walk and talk like, Western Carolinas.
We had a three-way call, kind of to like make sure the scripts conform and everything like that. Not being licensed to certain things, you should not have it said. So we have assurances that that is.
And that's what speeds up the conversation too. Right? Sometimes I still call these people and like, oh, how much is this for? How much is this for? And I get in these 20-minute conversations with them. With Tony, he calls and he's like, well, I'm looking for James. He's the local real station in the area. And I'll have them call me. Click next, click next, click next, click next.
Tell us about the biggest thing we all have with opportunity calling is rejection. Tell us about rejection.
But you're going to get rejected. There's going to be people that you call that are upset that you're calling. Okay? But then again, if you believe in your heart and your soul that you're doing this for a genuine purpose, then it's their loss. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but if you're not doing anything, since this house you just sold its next year's most important asset, and you're valuing it for yourself, I mean, it's all just in sales, it's just all numbers. You have to keep those people up when you get an asset people, and you know, okay, boom, maybe a nice one's going to come.
You know what worked for me?
Okay, so back to what I was talking about. Okay, so we got the full-time conversation, we got the admin, we got the making calls. Last year, I got on board for the very first time ever. Okay, so give yourself 15 to 25 reps. Don't try these opportunity calls or these cold calls as work. Give yourself 15 to 25 weeks of reps. Said, here's the email that I'm going to send you because that's the script. Like I said, here's the email that I sent you. We've been really active in the area. Everybody's been putting calling in the validation, even if it's not about real estate. Super friendly, just like how we talk about my soul. It's super friendly. If they are thinking about real estate, okay, so now this is yeah, you make a lot of calls. Hey, John, I was thinking about someone else. We haven't been up in the cabin in 5 years. We're thinking about selling. Letter. Like I said, I'm going to send you this welcome email, this introduction email, And then they're gonna get weekly newsletters from me, every single week on the same day. And those newsletters, like I said, it's 25% of it is about real estate. Okay, I have a little rotation. First one, is about like a restaurant or food, okay? Don't always talk about real estate. The second one is about an event. Try to invite them to something, even if it's not local, okay? A concert, a sporting event, something. Just, hey, we're going here next week, maybe we'll see you there, or a festival downtown. Third one is about something personal, okay? Like whatever you like to do personally, maybe like go on a hike, building a garden, whatever you're doing personally. And the fourth one's about real estate. That way, when I do talk to these people again, because you follow up, okay, the money's all in follow up. You call them back in 2 weeks, hey, Mr. Johnson, and you said you weren't planning on coming up into the cabin for another couple of years, but hey, did you get the letter I sent last 2 weeks ago? Yes, we got it, thank you so much, okay, cool. And did you get that email that I sent last week? Yes, we got it, thank you, so professional, wow, so nice. And Dan, we got your email last week about the restaurant, we actually went to that restaurant, you know, we're talking and building, I mean, this is all level one stuff. But when you send that information out to them in bulk, and then I call them and I speak to them the same exact way that I speak to them on the very first phone call, it's nice and smooth, and I'm talking, you're talking, we're passing it back and forth. They say, hey, yeah, we went to Catalucci, and we taught our kids how to ski there at Catalucci. I saw you and your family went there too, like, oh, hey, and by the way, they bring it up to me, we are planning on selling the cabin. Okay, so it's very low pressure, which is what I love about it. I didn't get into sales due to high pressure. Nobody likes that sticky, yucky feeling of high pressure. So the cold call, again, if you believe in your soul that you're licensed by the state of North Carolina, and you work with one of the biggest and baddest firms here in Western North Carolina, you get that thing going on in your head, and you call them and they get snarky, that's their fault, But when they do start to open up and they do start to talk to you, okay, you send them that weekly newsletter and the emails and the letters and all that kind of stuff, things just start, piling in. That's the low pressure, the 10% high pressure, okay? That's where the fun, once you get a couple of deals under contract, you get 10% high pressure. Okay, hey, Mr. Johnson, are you guys coming up? It's been 4 years and you haven't been up here in the beautiful mountains. Well, 10% high pressure, You bought that in 2015, gosh, you've got so much equity, 10% high pressure, And then sometimes you just go straight in. I followed up with these people 5-6 times in a row, and now it's been months. Mr. Johnson, do you want to sell your house? And then just stop talking, Just ask them straight up, you want to sell your house? Hey, I'll be in the area next week looking at another cabin to put on the market. You want me to swing by, do a little market analysis? That way, you know how much your house is worth. You guys all know that stuff, but the key is all in the follow-up. Well, we kind of just jumped around all over the place, so, a success story, okay? I didn't grow up in Franklin. This is the last little success story. I didn't grow up in Franklin, and, I call them Franklin Panthers. They're like high school, hometown heroes, right? They just grew up there, their family grew up there, they're second, third, fourth, fifth generation, and they know, just like their family knows, they have a mom or a dad or a cousin or their best friends in high school, people in real estate. But I call them and I introduce myself as the professional. I'm Dan. You only know me as a realtor. But, yeah, we go skiing, we go to this restaurant, we go to that festival I got. There's more to me, but they don't know the high school Dan, they don't know the college Dan, they just know the real estate Dan. So anyways, Kayla and Wyatt Gibson, they're Franklin Panthers. And our kids actually play soccer with them. But she came up on my dialer, Kayla Gibson. Here's the script. Hey, Miss Gibson. Yes. Hey, it's Dan, real estate agent Franklin. How you doing? Okay. You feel back and forth. Okay. It's not, hey, is this Miss Gibson? If I say that, she knows that I automatically don't know her. Okay. And like I said, I actually might know a lot of these people. We'll call friends on Facebook. Maybe they've seen my signs. Maybe we're, we go to the same festivals, the little pumpkin roll that they have in Franklin, right? Hey, Miss Gibson. Yes. Hey, it's Dan, real estate agent in Franklin. How you doing? Good. Awesome. Me too. I'm enjoying the sunshine. Gosh, it feels like spring out there, doesn't it? Ask them clear questions that passes the conversation back and forth. Yes, I know. It feels like spring out there. She's probably thinking in her head, do I know this guy? It's like, this guy is like talking to like best friend from high school. Do I know him? Kayla, yeah, you're married to Wyatt, yeah, of course we do. You know how awkward it would be if I saw her, like, at the soccer field and had this conversation with her? I would feel like this, like, sleazy salesperson, hey, you wanna buy or sell? Here's my card, call me, you know, like, that's just not me. But when I'm in my little cozy office, I got my coffee and my water, and I'm just in the zone, right? Collecting her email, Wyatt calls me like, you know, a year later, says, hey, will you come over, and tell me how much my house is worth? I was like, yeah, sure. There, and I'm like, wow, so honored that you would select me, you know? So I told him how much I was worth, and I said, hey, you guys live out of town? Like, you know, what are you doing? You know, trying to get so we actually went to dinner and just want to buy another house. So that if the furniture was brand new, she would be like, oh my gosh, it's just, you know, because they knew me as the realtor, as a professional, and also questions or good. If you, yeah, it's like, first time you ever went on cruise control or like, used an automatic toothbrush, yeah, it's like the same thing. Like, wow, why haven't I not been using it?
Quick poll, who uses a manual toothbrush?
Yeah.
Who uses an electric toothbrush?
There we go.
Yeah, okay, interesting. So you all know. You
I
know
have
the
a
difference.
question. I'm curious, if you don't reach someone, or did you choose to leave a message, or do you do
Yeah.
video messages?
Yeah, the
Because you're
voicemail
following.
is, hey, Miss Gibson, it's Dan. EXP Realty here in Franklin. I was calling about the neighborhood, Cartuga J, or I was calling about, Highway 441. I've got an update for you. My cell phone is, it was rate 332, and that's it. I get a lot of calls. Yeah, so you can drop that voicemail. If you're leaving your voicemails, that's, you know, 1990. You can drop that voicemail. Click, drop, click, drop, click, drop. So you sit there like this, and you just sit and talk to people all day long. You know, I love it.
I don't know if this is a question or more of a statement, but I live in Fairview, which is about 15 miles southeast of Asheville.
Okay.
And we were hit really hard with Hurricane Helene.
Right.
And there is a couple of little, really small boutique agencies in Fairview. And the community is so rocked still.
Yeah.
And, we've had a couple of town halls, a couple of meetings with, you know, FEMA and the governor and all that kind of stuff. And people do not want to hear from real estate agents out there.
Agreed.
They are quite legitimately like, are you trying to scam me?
100%.
And, you know, in these town hall meetings, the people who represented the local agencies or whoever, I wasn't there unfortunately at this one particular one. The vibe was like, you know, there was a lender there and there was a real estate agent there, and every single person at that meeting, other than the vendors who showed up to try to be helpful, was like, you know, are y'all about to try to screw me over? And so in this kind of environment, I know Franklin didn't have the same experience, and this may be to the broad group here. In this kind of environment, I feel pretty sensitive about cold calling in
Yeah.
my community right now.
Right.
Well, it's also a great opportunity to check in with people and
Here's
ask
what I,
them how
yeah,
they did and how you doing, and if you have any questions in the future, give me a holler. I'm happy to do a market analysis with you or whatever you may need. You don't have necessarily have to be calling to try to get their business at that moment. You can just call and check in. I was hitting Swananoa, I lost my house in Beacon Village. I appreciate people that just check in with me. Dave called and just checked in with me. Meant everything. And that's your opportunity to get the foot in the door with people. You don't necessarily have to say, I'd love to be your real estate agent. You can say, hey, how's your house do? Do you wanna know anything about what's going on in the area? Love to be your contact. Give me a holler.
But I think that gets back to what Dan was saying too, it's like his newsletter and the importance of collecting data from these folks, like, hey, could I have your email address? I'd like to send you something helpful, like maybe this is a resource from FEMA, a resource from the county, or something like that. I found in my calling folks and checking around that, there's another broker with another firm. I called her up and she was in tears, and before we knew it, I was in tears. And she says, this is just a really tough day, Dave. I said, yeah, but look, I don't wanna burden you with this question, but is there anything you need? And this is like a week after the storm, right? A week and a half after the storm. She said, you know, we're just trying to get some electrical turned back on some property we have that's higher than our house. They lived on King Creek, so they lost their house, they lost their barn, they lost their horses, their sheep, their goats. I mean, they lost everything. And she says, I just need to get an electrical permit. And so that was my duty, that was my thing that day, was to give her resources. Had nothing to do with real estate.
yeah.
It had nothing to do with, hey, why don't you come to EXP? It had everything to do with, how can I help you? And if you're having a conversation with somebody, let me get your contact information. I'm Jen, I'm a realtor, I'm here to help, but we don't have to talk about real estate today. What do you need? Yeah, and let me have your email address, and I'll send you all the information I can get on that. So, getting back to this other broker though, it's like she couldn't get a permit, so I called, I'm not gonna drop names, but I called somebody who I knew, they said, yeah, so I got a text message about this long on how to go about doing this and how to go around and get everything, just forwarded that to her. So I was here, ran into her just before I went to Florida, so 3 or 4 weeks ago. And, got a big old hug from her and her husband. And, I mean, when you're helping people and you go at it with a heart of service, in real estate, a lot of what we do is from a place of service, right? And we help people with CMAs, even though we might not get paid. And we do a lot of pro bono work because that's who we are.
Yeah.
And then getting paid is a byproduct of who we are.
If you can still make those calls, if you don't wanna introduce yourself as a real estate agent, you don't have to. Just say, I'm a community volunteer worker.
Well, that's what I've been doing for 6 months,
Perfect.
right?
That's
I've
what I
been out
did
in the
during
community,
Yeah.
doing that for 6 months and volunteering with groups, and I have not said, maybe it's to my detriment, but I've not said word one about, hey, I'm a realtor.
Right.
You know, when this is all over, give me a call or whatever. I haven't done anything like that, but if
Well-
the process, we're 6 months out, and so the idea of cold calling is not unrealistic, but it's also still so sensitive, so thank you for your responses, I appreciate it.
And I tell you what, as a realtor, and we are all realtors, you know, being involved in NAR and the state association and stuff, I don't think there's anything wrong with wearing that badge, wearing that brand of realtor. I think that, you know, like their issue is up here, a realtor is right in here, but there's nothing wrong with owning a brand. And that's what you're doing when you're doing that kind of thing. It's like, I am a realtor, but screw real estate right now. How can I help you?
Dan, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dan.
Real quick, if I may, Jason, you, good morning. You also
How do you
do a
stop
lot
it?
of cold calling. Can you just speak for a minute about, you're local, you're right here in Asheville. How many hours a day do you cold call?
Not enough, because, but I'm Jason Brodsky, for those of you who haven't met, and my team is called